Freddy Heaters, we're back at it. Today we're here with Sharif Farrag, the man himself, putting on some final touches to his artwork and ceramics for his show with Jeffrey Deitch in New York City. We're actually going to be in New York in a couple weeks to see the show in its finality. So much to heat up. Let's get into it.
So Sharif, I was going to ask too, like in terms of the glaze, like I know a little bit about ceramics, but like when you say glaze, that also is like painting the ceramic, right?
Yeah, simply like glaze is glass, clay, and something called a flux, which is something that will lower the melting temperature. Glass melt, like silica is above 3,000 degrees, like it's way too hot. Yeah. So you use these fluxes to lower the melting point of glass, and then you use clay as a way to like stop it from just running everywhere or like kind of becoming too liquidy. Yeah. That's like that side, and then there's a whole side of colorants and stains and kind of like, you know, they call them, you know, oxides. That's how you get the cool effects and the cool colors. So there's stuff I make myself. Everyone has what they like, you know. For me, I like this kind of stuff, like trying to depict stories a little, make characters. There's so much about the glaze that entices me so much. One of them is the lack of control in the firing, that this stuff moves and is alive beyond me. Like it's kind of like I set up scenarios using gravity in different ways to try to like create movement and energy and like some kind of feeling through the glaze. But I don't have control in that way all the time.
Man, there's so many variables that I can just imagine that.
Like this was supposed to be purple. It's not purple at all. So that was like mix this blue into a red, and the blue had just overpowered everything. And this piece too is different than all of them in it, that it's a different temperature because this piece had technical issues and I didn't want to take it to a higher temperature because it's going to shrink another couple percent. Okay. And every time something shrinks, it is just, you're asking for things to go bad.
Yeah, things can
crack and crunch.
Yeah. This skull in here is so sick. I'm just noticing like the layers, there's just so much.
This shit's so hard. I'm like, oh my God, gets you sometimes. Like, and it's deadlines and pressure and then ceramics and drying. It can be crazy sometimes. I think the bit shrinkage and dryness are the two opponents that are really hard. So like this here is hard because like clay, depending on its thickness, shrinks more or less, you know, and depending like, so a thick piece of clay is gonna shrink more than a thin piece. Okay. And it's kind of like, in a way, what's hard about this kind of stuff is like, I'll build this whole thing and this thing is gonna stay wet for a while. You know what I mean? Because it's thicker and it's like the inside isn't gonna dry as fast and stuff. This little thin flute is gonna be the first thing that wants to dry. It just because it doesn't have as much stuff on it and it's so the air is just hitting it from all sides. Totally. If this is dry before this is, and then this starts to shrink, and this is all brittle and dry, it just snaps off and cracks because it has no flex. It doesn't, so you really have to time like all these things. The way I do it is I use like wax or plastic or different things to cover up one spot as this dries up and like, and as this is getting to a good spot, you like hit it off and you're like, hope it all mends and it's these like, and just care. You literally have to care for it a lot at that stage of drying. I'm just talking tech. Sure, but it just kind of
totally. I mean, it illustrates what all goes into it.
You have to think of a lot of things. This had like vines that attached to the base. Yeah. And the base is so much thicker than this, and like all the vines that were attached to this that went up to here, like this was still wet, but this started to dry, and the vines all started to dry. And then when it started shrinking, all of them just like, I was just come in and I looked at it and I was like, oh, these were all just kind of sitting on the ground. And I was like, oh, they didn't make it because I just try it. Like, I'm kind of stupid where I'm like, I will do the work and it break every time just to see if it does make it. 'Cause if it does, then I'm like, dude, you did it, you know, like you freaking did the impossible, you know? And that's kind of like the pushing this material to keep seeing like, how much further can I take that intricacy? It is pretty technically difficult. You have to consider a lot. It's not kind of like just get the mud and fuck around and whatever you make makes it. A lot of times you make something amazing and it has problems, you know, and you're like, oh shit. Like, it's such an old medium and it connects so far back in the time that like, and I can take it. I don't know, something about I can take it. Yeah. Like, I don't know. That's maybe why I like the material. I just like, I can take that. I can take the
challenge of it
and the ambiguity, the not knowing if it's going to make it the whole time. Kind of comfortable in that mind state somehow. But
in some ways it kind of makes it easier because you know from the jump that it could all blow up.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's maybe a little
like you don't
freeing.
even know exactly how it's gonna come out or how the glaze is. I think for me, it's like practicing faith in a weird way, where you're just kind of like, I don't know if God's real, but like, fuck it, you know? And it's just like, I don't know how it's really gonna come out. I'm still gonna put the energy and kind of try my best. And a lot of them come out awesome. And I'm like, dude, what the hell, you know? And this room is kind of where I build my clay stuff more. But this is kind of where things get made. Like this table, mostly. This table is from USC, where I took my first ceramics class. They like were getting rid of the tables. I got to get the one that I was like I did my first class on this table in school. I was like, damn, and it's free. And it's a great table, honestly. I love it. So happy about it. But yeah, this room is kind of where I work on clay, and the kilns are in here too.
Was that a big leap to like get your own kiln? And
hell yeah. If like painting is kind of like skateboarding, like ceramics is kind of like skiing. Like you have to have the pass and the skis, and you have to go to the mountain, and you have to do, like, you can't just step out of your front door and hop on the board and do your thing, which
that's a great.
It's not like I'm hyped on that, but I just am in it. Like I'm just, for some reason, I'm just a snowboarder, you know, but it's just like, but that it's real. There's like all these barriers to it. I didn't do it till I was like in my mid 20s, and when I went to school, because I just never had like access to it. Yeah, it took me a couple years to kind of catch up using institutions. Like when I left my undergraduate at USC, Tony Marsh ran at the time Cal State Long Beach, like had seen my thesis show for my undergrad. So he asked me like, where are you doing? I was like, I'm quitting ceramics. I don't know how to do this stuff like outside of school. I'm just gonna do painting. And like was the sickest, awesomest opportunity. Just was like, I'll give you a studio for a couple months. So he gave me that shot of like, look, if you can find a way to Long Beach, you got a spot. And I was like, I'll be there, dude, I'll be there right now. That couple months turned into 2 years. I was he let me just lurk around, and I made so much art, and I was around the most powerful ceramic artists like ever. I mean, like.
So he gave you the skis and the poles and the ski boots.
Yes, he did. And he was like, dude, get good, and maybe you'll be able to figure this out. Even since the beginning, I never thought I'd go to art school. Like even when I was a kid, like I always avoided art. Like I never took art class in school. I never like took art classes out. For some reason, I thought it would corrupt me. I was like really weird. I was like, dude, this shit is bad, you know? And I know art, like I know it, you know? And I just like, which wasn't a great mindset. I think I was scared of it. Like people seeing my art and telling me they didn't like it or something. So I feel like it took a while, but then after it, I was able to save enough money to open this studio. So I got this kiln and able to kind of build this out, this whole place. And
this is you, right?
Yeah. So, I don't have that many paintings here right now, because I put one in my house, but just like, these are me. I'm gonna show them at the show. This is gonna be in the show, and like I'm making another one this week.
So like, where do some of the visual ideas start? Like, because when I look at the final product, it's so elaborate. I see so many layers, so many dimensions, so many stories within.
Each piece is different, but like if we're staring at like these two, like, you know, this piece is something where I was like, I want to go figurative. Like I don't really think specifically. I'm just like, I want to make a figure. And I start making that figure and kind of flowing and focusing, and as I'm going, kind of start to go with the flow and figure things out. Like this piece, this head was actually the head of the piece.
It's so sick. I didn't see it because I was looking over there, and then.
Yeah, it's like one day I just go off on this face, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, I don't like it. And it's just this action of like making decisions on the spot that I like. And so I cut off the head and pushed it back, and then started to redo the piece. And I'm like, it turns out so much cooler. But I feel like it's just constantly thinking as I'm in the work, and like, but the imagery is depicting, I'm like, I don't know, that part I always am like, hard to be specific about, because I think some I'm really specific. I mean, a lot of things are really personal, but also like the nature of the art medium is that it's drying, so you really gotta go. Like I can sit, I'm getting better at it. Like the city piece in the other room, like that's more thought out of like before, but this one is more freeform, where I just built like the vase part. This one actually, I literally built the vase up to here. And then like, I think I built it right up to here. And then I just started filling it in with stuff. Like it wasn't all incorporated, or the ideas weren't clear. it started with, I finished actually the base of it, and I was looking at it like, where the hell do I start now? And I started looking through books a lot of the time, and I had like a Gustave Moreau book. The picture, this one cool painting of like a red swan in a green lake, and I was like, oh, that's dope. Green background, red swan, and then it's just like, so I just hit it on this side, you know? And then I just start there. And so I built the swan, and I start moving through, where does this flow to? How do I, like, what's the next move, dude? And I think with that, I went this side, I built this little store, and then once I got this dude done, I was like, oh, we're on. Like, that's dope. And I'm like, okay, we're on. But then it's like, you gotta go move fast, because like, once this starts drying and stuff, like you gotta start moving but it's weird. It's like sometimes with pieces, I just have to like do one thing to show myself, like, oh, dude, you're in, you know? And like, I'll often start with the hardest couple parts and then kind of fill in the rest. There are a lot like doodling, and like, that's what got me into art through a lot of my life. Art acted as a way to like get through shit, you know? It's just like doodling and stuff. So like, I got pretty good at like kind of figuring out, where does the next thing doodle to? You know?
Where does the next thing doodle to?
Yeah.
That's a great quote. I like that.
And then this one was more specific in terms of like I always do these carvings, like see on this one, there's like this. And I was like, dude, like I could do that so much better if I just give myself the reason. And so I was like, just this piece is all about carving, you know? And then I wanted to like kind of go in on the carving and really push myself to be a little better. But this is glazed fuck, like this is not planned. None of that. This was all painted night. Like this whole thing had all these different, it was a Pink Panther with like different colors and shit. But this glaze, like all the way from up here, this guy wants to go all the way down, all the way here, and then just pour down the
So that's where it starts from.
Yeah, this is this glaze.
Whoa.
Yeah, see, it's right there. You can see where it dripped down, and then like, yeah, this glaze is really runny, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks so cool. I mean, you take a second, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's the like,
you see
feline character.
Yeah, it's like it. I mean, what's cool is I couldn't have planned that. You know, like that. I mean, I could have, but I think what's I love about this, and I can't let go of, is that I opened the kiln and was like, oh shit. Yeah. You know, that happened, and like, and it just speaks back to you. It's weird, like it's talking back, and you're like, why did it do that? Like, not technically, I know why, but my ass tries to be all like symbolic. I'm like, why? You know, like it's just kind of makes life fun. Makes it feel like there's another hand and you know another.
I like that.
Someone else in the room. You know, and you're like, damn.
Yeah, the spirit side of it.
The spirit, and I love that.
And then I think just too, as you speak about it, it's like. It occurs to me like there's a tremendous sense of control in how you are building this you feel like construction when you sit in front of it. Yeah. But then now you're elaborating the rest of the process. There's also like a release where it's like it's out of your control.
It completely. Like I try to do the best I can, like all of us do in life. You try to control shit. Oftentimes something it's just like, whoa, you know, like what the hell is happening here? And like it's kind of just fixing and being calm and rolling with it. Yeah. This one was pretty simple. I mean, there's like, it didn't have as much firing stuff as say like one of those. Nothing really cracked or, you know, you can do so much with clay. I mean, I feel like I could go even crazier, but I'm just like, you can do, like people work with it and are like super careful. Yeah. And I'd be pushing it pretty far. And I'm like, yeah, this can go even further. Like this is the best material for making sculptures ever. Like you can't do epoxy. There's nothing else but the mud under us that actually reacts to the fingers the best. It's so crazy to me. Yeah. That shit is like some stoner blows my mind. Like I'm like, how is the one thing we stand on the best thing for making sculptures? Because I tried epoxy dough. I've tried all this shit to use fucking all, you know, wire and paper and this and epoxy and then and the way that a lot of people, or bronze or this, it's like there is nothing that will imprint your fingerprint better than just raw clay with water, which is it's quite amazing. It's like pretty cool. Yeah. But that's why I'm in this business. It's like I feel like I wish I could make them out of epoxy. It'd be like like more or less fragile and stuff. But there's something about it's been for thousands of years people have been using this same stuff to do this. Like just to I just feel honored that I could even like show art and try to use that same stuff and be in conversation with like people who did this 1,000 years ago, trying to make something cool too.
And it's so cool. I mean, like another balance point for me is seeing it. And it's like, I mean, it's 2025, we're here, and like you feel the modern elements that you're bringing into it, just in whether it's like the subject matters or like the cars and the people and the colors, but yet it's the most, to your point, like historic medium that's existed forever. You know, it's like,
I mean, if any way, like I feel like it's a stretch to be like, think of myself this highly, but I'm like, if I could be depicting something about this day and age through such a historical material, like I just feel that there's it goes in a lineage that has been happening actually for so many years. And like, I think it is a goal of mine, like in some way to like, show my life through them. And if any way that can reflect anything to do with the world now, you know?
Totally.
So I'm not in the business of really looking outside of my life too much. I don't like in my work.
Yeah.
I don't think I really push it outwards from this little world, you know? And,
but what's cool though is it's like you feel both your personal touch, and I'm seeing, you know, figures pop up that I'm assuming are kind of you and your wife, or and yet at the same time they're so elaborate, there's so much story to them, it goes way bigger than like just you.
Hell yeah, I hope so. I mean, I have like we said, I think I said a little yesterday, like I have a story I have things I can give people if they want to know some like details or things I'm interested in or references, like I love to share it, but also like it really is like, I hope that even if I share those things, you can think about it. It's open enough to where the story isn't like, oh, that's about this guy who went to the liquor store and then went to this place and came back home. Like it's not that clear. You're like, what's happening here? These pieces are a lot about narrative. I'm trying to like hone in on it a little. Like I haven't gotten the story part down, but it's even just structurally, like how does it look like a story? You know, like how do you kind of create a sculpture that starts to like go from one place to the next, you know? And
two, I think, at least for me, art that I get really excited about, I mean, there's clarity to it, but there's also like some unknowns. And so you leave some imagination on the table for people
half the shit where they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm like, I don't know either, dude. I really don't. Like, I'm really still figuring it out too. And these things change to me a lot, you know, as time goes on. And I find things where I'm like, how, you know, it's just crazy. You're like, damn, you know? But this is all like...
Swan is so sick.
Thanks. Yeah. I kind of tried to hit like a little bit of LA here with like kind of like Echo Park Lake and the swan boat. But yeah, it's kind of like...
swan boat, but it's red. I never would have thought that, the red swan, like make it red.
I know, me neither. I mean, there's like that, it's just from that painting. There's red herons, which are cool, but they're a little different looking. Birds show up in all these pieces actually with these. I feel like they're like so... they just fly and they're a little bit like, they're always just kind of around.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, they'll be on top of a tree.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hell yeah, there's a bird.
Put a bird on it.
Yeah.
This is wild. Like just the figure, just how it's a totally, where would I start? It's a unique figure, and then like the head, but like this inner head and then the outer head that falls off, and then holding the brain. It's so wild. Oh, this is
Thank you
cool.
so much. I mean, yeah, figures are always like so, they hold so much.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, what do I do?
Yeah,
thank you. I think it's like, how do I, one thing I was thinking about was like these kind of sharp, I call them spiky vines, but in this piece, I feel like they're kind of like going like through the skin. Like it's like, it's kind of painful piece. Like, cause it's like, these are like going through your veins and coming out like, and ripping everything. And the skin's all burnt and like ripped apart. And it's kind of like, it was just cool to like kind of Fabergé egg on the top. But I feel like it was, I mean, really was just this simple idea of like, you know, we have like masks we put on to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And then there's something like, you know, for me, maybe it looks like this. It's like this kind of delicate, you know, delicate complicated thing inside.
Yeah.
You know, that's like should be protected.
Yeah.
But you put on this face to be like, get out of my way.
Yeah.
You know, like just, it's like,
yeah,
just where I was going through and thinking about things.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Like, I mean, the zipper I'm hyped on to made it in like this little situation.
Yeah.
These little things are like stupid. You just added like that is, it made it. I'm
yeah.
like,
That's incredible.
But it's just little things like that. Like they want to snap right off with drying stuff and all that. But I actually think I didn't even attach it. That's how it's on there. It was just a looped in, so it was dangling. But when the glaze did it, it got stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I'm excited these will be together and like kind of go like have the two. These works are like kind of first ones I've done at this scale because they're all the first pieces I've made since I got this kiln, and they all fit pretty much to the top of that.
Does this give you more, like the scale of this helps you do bigger stuff?
Yeah. Because like, and it's the way it's built that it has like a front door.
Okay.
It makes it easier to put stuff in. Because these I can't pick up by myself, or even with loot. I don't even think both of us could. We could. This one especially is hard, but those maybe. But they all slide. It's all about sliding. So see all this sand?
Yeah.
It's to help things slide.
Yeah.
So it's like little ball bearings to help. You can push the heaviest thing on some sand. It's that's how they did it back in the day. I bet you. It's like, dude, you could put the heaviest thing and just throw some sand down, and like you can't push it. And the second it touches the sand, it's just so cool. But buying this like opened up a lot for me in terms of like being able to do this in my own space and not have to use schools. This is the one I've been using before it, and it's like with bigger sculptures, it's really hard to get them. They're kind of like
way smaller.
Yeah, so that's kind of this is badass. Like I'm like happy I could get it.
It's a great title, the Genesis 2.0.
I know that's the touch screen. It's pretty cool. It's a great kiln. I hope one day, like now I'm like.
When do you get like the sponsor? They do sponsorships
I wish. Oh my God. Laguna, sponsor me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, there we go.
It gets so hot. It's kind of crazy how hot that shit gets. And it's like, it's just.
What's like your typical?
I fire at some cone 5. I think it's like 2100 something, 2150 or something like that. I might be off, but. My bad, but it's in that 2100, 2200 type range.
Pretty hot.
It's really hot, yeah, dude. It's crazy. Like this shit will be just glowing.
So the main New York, we'll be going from like here to New York. It's these three guys, and then
the works in there. This one too, and the drawings.
The cat.
The cat.
Yeah.
Kind of like going into. My dad's Egyptian. Oh, he moved here in like. 72 to LA.
Okay.
My mom's from Syria, but I was like, I get a lot of inspiration from kind of like Syrian textiles and different like woodwork. But in America, like, I don't want to get all weird, but it's like people don't like Muslims sometimes. It's a lot easier to be Egyptian. Yeah. You know, so just kind of like interesting. Like because people like Egypt, like they're like that's ancient Egypt. You know, it's cool. So it's just an interesting thing I noticed about my life. I would always be saying I'm Egyptian and not Syrian or not Muslim, and then I'm like, so I was like,
I'm the different reactions that people.
Yeah, it's not clear in the work that it's like about that, but I think that Egyptian sculpture is this like deep, rich plethora of sculpture that like. Is so interesting and kind of like there's just such iconic sculptures in Egyptian and like and there's a couple I found that I keep doing. One of them's like this one is another one called Thoth and Scribe, which is cool, which is like I've done it a couple times, which is like basically like a sculpture of the god of writing, Thoth, which is like a monkey, which is so dope to me. And this is like a scribe, kind of like the god of writings talking to the scribe, and they're like, writing it. And like, but it was so cool to me that like the god of like writing was a monkey, and there's these weird just evolutionary like
the flip of where we
like the flip of like it's just humored in my head, like a little joke of like it's but that was an ancient sculpture, so I'm like they were humor, dude, like they knew, and it's kind of they maybe didn't know of evolution, but like who knows, but they were like. But it's cool to like address it and use it, and kind of like because with history and art, one of the big reasons I started ceramics was like in school was like the idea that I could reach back like just referentially into like ancient stuff.
Yeah, I'm making sense of what you're saying now. That like
I don't know if it makes sense. Yeah,
it gives you, but this rather than maybe through painting you were pulled more towards the influence of Western art. Like this gives you more freedom to just see what comes out of you naturally yourself.
Yeah, and I think there's just natural conversations that relate to your medium. They're like, not like to your medium, but it's just like when I first started ceramics, I got like a grant from my school, and I got to go to Morocco and study like for like 6 weeks under like just in a factory where they made like cups and stuff, and like that was with this. So I'm trying to make the point, but it's hard to make, I guess, right now. But I'm like I went to Morocco and I learned all this shit, something that had nothing to do with contemporary art, and I was like, I like this because I felt like when I was in school, I really wanted to learn how to paint, like just how to get good at painting. And it was the conversations were so intense around theory. Yeah. And I'm happy I went through them, but I think it brought me to this because I was just like, man, I'm gonna make vases, dude. I don't even know.
At some point you have to let that go and get into creating whatever is coming from you. Yeah,
exactly, I think. And I hope I can spread out from this medium too. It takes years for me to get to to learn it. It took her definitely like that 10,000 hours thing is like, it takes 10,000.
You can feel, I think getting a chance to be in your studio, seeing just the scope of the work, you feel the 10,000 hours. Like as someone who's
I hope so, just, man. Thank you so much.
Kind of neutral eyes. Yeah, there's a lot of hours for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, I love it. It's cool. It's like, it's it's more like ceramics is like awesome. Cause like, it's like painting, but it's sculpture. And I really like painting. I've obviously mentioned it a bunch of times. Like I look at a lot of paintings. And with this, I feel like you can just play with it in that way of like, there's kind of like a size and a structure to it. I think with my art, like so much sculpture is about gravity in space, and I think it's there a little, but I think I also like love the idea of composition and color like being just as important in sculpture, or something like that.
Well, when you said collectible too, it makes you think of like, these things are very precious, but at the same time, getting a chance to walk through with you here and just to see you kind of like touch and like talk about, the physicality of you making it and the physicality of it now, it takes me back to like, as a kid collecting figurines or whatever.
Hell
like,
yeah, that's what's cool. Yeah, it has that same thing to it. And
it's like,
it's like you get that,
a little more tangible maybe than just the eyes.
Yeah.
You feel the physicality of it a little bit more.
Maybe I like sculpture, that. I like that too. I like that you can see the
impression, just the touch.
Yeah. I try to keep that really present too, like not get too clean cut with things just because it's like I like that you can see that someone made it, and I don't try to do it on purpose, I think, to like make it messy, but I think it's become part of the style that, and I like.
Yeah, that's you.
I try to like transfer it to other things like jewelry. Like I'll make these chains like where it's like they're hand done. So it's like a chain, but it's like every little link is different. Every,
That's clay?
This is, it's called metal clay, but it's a clay that turns to silver when you fire it. So it's like, it starts as clay and it's real. You can feel it. It's like metal,
Yeah.
Like, doesn't break, you know what I mean? But it's
wild.
It's idea. It's pretty cool. Like I'll try to think like, what are these things that are part of the steez that like I can transfer to another thing? And I think with these bracelets, it's like, it's cool. I just got to figure out how to make more because they take me so damn long.
I was gonna say like, I bet they're intricate. So I bet like
they are. And like, who wants a silver bracelet? I'll be like, it's $1,000. It took me like 2 weeks. Dude, it's like,
there might be a market for that. I think.
Yeah, I gotta make them for myself. These are all just mine. It's like I don't wear jewelry too much, but like at one point I wanted a chain like that one too, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just
make one.
Yeah, and once I started, I just dug a hole. I was like, I guess I gotta finish it. This took me forever, but I'll make some different this is a different pendant I've designed that like I want to make more of, but they're just like cool. A Pink Panther that kind of looks like like balls.
Yeah.
Or boobs.
Yeah.
You know? Kind of sexy Pink Panther.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fucking messing around with this metal clay is really cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, Sharif. This is just so good. Friday Heaters. We are in New York City. Last time we tuned in, we were with Sharif Farrag in LA in his studio. Now we are here a couple weeks later to see both the studio process into the final presentation show at the Jeffrey Deitch Gallery. Things are heating up. Let's get into it. Jeffrey Deitch, Sharif Farrag, it's happening. Now we are here in New York City at the show.
Yeah.
It appears that everything made it in one piece.
Dude.
Is that always like a risk with ceramics?
Oh my God. Yeah, it was like opening those crates was such a relief. I don't know how to explain it, but it's been like a year of waiting for the day of opening the crates. But everything made it without any even like chip, which is really great. And like I was prepared, but all I got to do now is just take a little cloth and shine them.
Okay.
Yeah, and kind of clean them up a little bit. But
do you like travel with super glue?
If I could travel in the crate with them, I would do it, honestly. Yeah. I'd just sit next to them inside of the box until they got here. But that's what would make me feel better, honestly.
It's like old school train rides.
Yeah. Well, what's cool, like that ended up in the setup of the show is kind of like, this drawing is from 2021, and it's like something I made a while ago with this character like Onion Head, who's kind of this guy who like has all these layers of personality.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like this is kind of the start of a lot of the ideas, I guess, in the show, in a way, in this weird drawing format. And then across the room is like this clay version of it that I'm like, I like that these two figures are kind of watching over everything.
Well, I remember too, this was this moment here when we first looked at the studio. So that's basically, we're going picture to
picture.
3D.
Yeah, that's like trying to just take these characters in all these different forms and see how they look and how they relate to me and things like that. I mean, this is just like a self-portrait, I guess.
Love that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what
that's
that
like maybe
means,
the coolest self-portrait ever created.
Oh man.
So it's crazy because like we also were looking at this and it was lying flat on the countertop, and now like even for you as the artist, does it feel different when you get everything into space and see it set up like this? Does it give you a different view of the final product, I guess?
Totally. Yeah. A lot. Like I didn't see this piece, and I mean, maybe sharing but I didn't see this piece till it was really like done.
Yeah.
Until it was on this wall. I never saw it up on a wall. So it's cool to to just see them. I mean, everything's kind of cleaned up and presented in a way that's like, I've seen them in my studio for a year now. Some of these pieces have been with me a long time. I mean, that first piece actually like to the date is like when I started a year ago.
Yeah.
The first piece in the show. So it's kind of a
full year of life.
Yeah, and it's definitely like there's a transformation that happens, and it's just emotional. It's like seeing like your kids graduate high school.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, they're on stage in the gown and they're like, they graduated.
Yeah.
They made it through puberty, which is the kiln, and then went through adolescent, and now I'm letting them go to become adults.
Yeah.
Or come back with me.
Yeah. They'll be out. They'll
stay with Papa Sharif.
I've always wondered too with stuff like this, like how do you think about the different plinths or
like pedestals, plinths?
Yeah.
I mean, with this exhibition, I was like thought from the beginning that I wanted to go really simple on like presentation. Mm-hmm. I kind of believe these are like, they can really be a big deal. I don't know, and like
they can affect the show.
And the question of what do you do to like present sculpture? Like I was on the floor, is this like green? Is this like metal? Like is this? I think in my head, I really like right away was like want them to kind of just be clean.
Yeah.
I felt like the pieces have a color in them and have like stuff going on, and And I was thinking about just like kind of just be all about the sculptures.
Yeah.
You know, and
not too much noise going on.
Yeah, and just I mean, they're considered, you know, like there's stuff about them that's considered, and there's a glossy finish to them, and there's kind of these things that hoping that they would like, you know, reflect bits of color and reflect bits of the pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for these pieces, I felt that like this formal kind of plinth, like just the classic,
super clean. Yeah,
is
I'm
very like works for these works.
Yeah.
And I think every show you have the decision, or every piece you have the decision to like see how it meets the ground.
It's fun. I'm remembering when we watched it, I was like, oh, there's some pieces that I don't recognize, but I'm like, oh yeah, this was being painted.
That wasn't done.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to see the final colors because it was still very like powdery and kind of light spring colors, and now this whole thing is like filled in. And
well, yeah, they get juicier for sure.
Yeah,
it's all dried out when you're painting it, and then it just becomes like juicy. You're like, whoa. A lot of like things drip and move and kind of do different stuff. Yeah. But this one was sort of another like Fabergé inspired piece. Cool to address the city a little bit. I like reference some stuff I remember from first coming here and learning, like this bar McSorley's, or it's like the first bar in New York, or the subways going underneath the tunnels here. In these rooms are little scenes. And
so is this your first like full show in New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
solo,
kind of an extra
solo exhibition. I've done a group show, a couple of group shows here.
Yeah.
And in this room, I mean, this room is really legendary. So I'm happy to be in here.
Yeah.
Like this is some of my favorite artists have done shows in this room. Martin Purcell's did Tumble Room, which is like this room that was just like spinning and the whole thing was destroying itself, like the whole show. And I mean, Dash Snow did Nest in here. I mean, it's like, there's a lot that's happened in this room. So I guess I just get to put these things in here and get to like, it's cool for like younger Sharif, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's really
dude,
cool
absolutely.
for like 14-year-old Sharif who like just learned about Dash Snow. Yeah. Was like, that's so gnarly, you know? And like, I mean, that's like all these works are in consultation constantly with 14-year-old Sharif. So it's like, he's kind of like part of the boardroom.
Oh man, that's deep, dude. I love hearing that. That's powerful, and to be here with you at this point in your life. I'm doing all this
for him, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's one of the main motivations is like remembering being younger and like doing things, loving that person. Yeah. You know.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, man. It's fun for us to like studio visit, to transport to another city, to the show outside of LA, you know, so we're breaking new ground. We've got new ground for artists, new grounds for heaters. And this is rad, dude. I mean, these works really, they hang on their own and deliver a show.
Thank you.
Just on their own.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Heaters, we did it.